Wrestling is Peter's podcast, and the podcast of today's topic is all elite wrestling. AEW, man. What's up, AEW, huh? Nothing's up. And think about it, really nothing's up, but we need to discuss literally every topic, what's going on in that company. Well, let's talk about the biggest storyline of AEW. Is it even the biggest storyline of AEW at this point? Huh? Well, it is? I don't think so. The company has really, man, over the past 5 years now, existence. It is at its worst right now, I'm sorry to say. And it maybe has to do with Hall of Beck taking over. People run into conclusions. When did AEW start to flounder? There are a lot of reasons. You could say Paul Levesque taking over WWE, Vince resigning. You could say, when they bought Ring of Honor. You could say there are a lot of things and stuff to navigate here and there. But AEW, as a company as a whole, was such special product for us because at that time we hated, WWE in general. WWE was that cringe company that was putting on just absolutely bull crap of matches and bull crap of storylines, fast pacing the storylines, and it didn't make sense. There was no long term input in it. It was stupid. And what we wanted, this is, again, we're going back to like 2019. We're reaching out here, people. We're going back to 2019. 2019, AEW starts, hot pro wrestling company. Starts off with All In, right? All In 2018, the stuff that Cody did. Cody Rhodes, the aspect of AEW in general. And Cody, he left AEW too, so there are problems that why AEW is at a decline, The company started around 2019 January. It was announced at that time. It was known at 2018 after All In, some shit is about to go down in the wrestling industry at this point. Some big thing is about to go down, and a company is announced. And it was head to hand of a billionaire at that time, known Tony Khan. Tony Khan, if you look at Tony Khan, even for example, Jim Cornette, everybody talked about this shit. You look at Tony Khan at that time, man. Tony Khan at that time was this businessman. He had that field. He had done, he's done business with Jacksonville Jaguars and the NSL or whatever the hell. He felt like an actual promoter. He felt like he is a businessman. He is the owner of the company. He felt like a billionaire. He did. He had that aspect to believe that he is a billionaire. We move on from whatever he was that time, right? So fast forward, AEW starts, Double or Nothing 2019, man. We're just recapping here. What a show, banger. And my point exactly is, AEW, when it first started, it was the alternative. We needed that. We needed a break from that cringe-ass WWE product. We needed a break from Suffering Succotash. We needed a break from Bobby Lashley's sisters. We needed a break from, oh my god, there's a lot of cringe stuff out there. We needed a break from 24/7, I believe, sometimes. We needed a break from, there's, like, stuff out there. We needed a break from Roman Reigns as Big Push, as being the big dog. If there were things that we wrestling fans just, in the hardcore wrestling fans were just not buying into it, and people were just losing interest in pro wrestling, and AEW really reinvited that interest in professional wrestling, that stories could be cool in wrestling and shit. And we can tell long-term stories. Oh, that's true? We can tell long-term stories of wrestling? That's not been a while. I'm not seeing long-term for wrestling because WWE always fucked them up. So why would you tell long-term stories in wrestling? Enter AEW. So it was a very interesting aspect of pro wrestling, a revolution that AEW created. It was a freaking revolution. It was not that this is it was a revolution. It was a revolution. nice with Cody Rhodes, the Bucks, Kenny, Marty, and Tony, and all those guys in production with people like Dustin Rhodes running into, and Chris Jericho being a big focal part of AEW. Chris Jericho. Thing is, AEW just did not start. Oh, everybody knew AEW was starting. All right, AEW, this wrestling company, starting. The first off the wrestling company of AEW started. Chris Jericho. They scooped in Chris Jericho. Listen, Chris Jericho at that time was a mega star. Everybody knew Chris Jericho. It's a global star, dude. Everybody from the streets of India would know Chris Jericho. Everybody from the streets of Brazil would know Chris Jericho. Everybody from the igloos of I don't know, Alaska would know who Chris Jericho is. Everybody from Russia would know who Chris Jericho is. Everybody from Sri Lanka would know who Chris Jericho is. Everybody from Canada to US to Mexico to Japan to China to freaking Afghanistan. Everybody would know. Everybody knew what Chris Jericho was. So AEW picking up Chris Jericho at the first, and just how Chris Jericho came in, it was so good. It was, again, an alternative we needed from the WWE, because WWE's product was so downright bad. It was terrible. The wrestling was not good for most of it. It wasn't that fun to watch. Unless NXT, the main roster did not have fucking banger matches. There was not a thriving industry. WWE was not really thriving in terms of wrestling product. It was at all times, so they were making money, tons of money probably. But it doesn't matter for the fan base that they kept on losing. And AEW, as a wrestling company, really brought the fun in wrestling. Fun in terms of you got a competition. You got a fucking competition. This competition is gonna be the likes of WCW or ECW in the 90s or whatever. AEW as this revolutionized, competition to the WWE at that time, because only WWE was there at that time. TNA tried their hardest. I think they earned about 3 million views, but they couldn't beat WWE. So AEW was this company. Ring of Honor was a company enough, but their budget was not enough to beat the WWE because they couldn't, because it's not, Ring of Honor. They were not some billionaires or something, and we didn't have. And I think Dixie, whatever that family was, Jeff Jarrett was a millionaire or whatever the fuck. But yeah, the point is that AEW succeeded pretty well during the first started here. So, and the reason it succeeded, again, WWE sucked at that time. We hated it. WWE was the worst. WWE had the worst stories. WWE had freaking The Fiend getting burned or whatever the fuck. The Fiend getting, I'm just talking about Bray Wyatt's and shit, getting crucified in a Hell in a Cell match, and then the bell rings. Who calls a DQ in a fucking Hell in a Cell match? WWE was at its worst at that time. Roman Reigns as the big dog was fucking weird because he was not as the top guy. It was like they're purposely putting him in this position because they don't want him to change, but they were still gonna bring him up and we're gonna hate him again. And this shit is gonna go to fuck again. It sucked. I don't care. It was just terrible in all records. It sucked. Back to the point again. WCW, right there. WCW kicked WWF's ass in the ratings in the 90s. Well, when Hulk Hogan, the likes of Hogan, the people who joined in really WCW, Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. There are more people in the top of them. Randy Savage, Lex Luger. There are a lot of people who revolutionized WCW, really, and made it the number one company. But the moment was when Hogan turned heel, and that's where the boom period started in WCW. it was not what, it was not close to anything AEW has done in different period. It was, WCW was big. It went global. They were beating them in the freaking ratings. The ratings were so high for WCW because they were telling the best stories, and this NWO faction was so cool. Sting character from Surfer to Crow Sting, such a great transition. The rise of Goldberg. WCW was the competition, and eventually, '01, they died due to, you know, guys running the asylum, as we say with AEW currently, just lunatics running the asylum at this point, right? And that was missed, right? People missed that competition. So when AEW was born, and AEW reunited that competition, after nearly, at this point, we had wrestling came back on TNT first of all, and just not wrestling that came back on TNT, wrestling came back with a big focus on TNT. It was different. It was a different organization. AEW was a company to reckon with and stay in the wrestling business and be stronger and be a better product and be more into getting more newer fans and telling better stories than what WWE used to at the time. So AEW comes in, and it really changed wrestling because now you want the WWE to do better, right? The WWE should do better now. The WWE, now WWE has the time to change. Otherwise, it's don't. You have this company with a billionaire who is, controlling it, and he is letting his wrestlers do what it meant with good stories, and they're telling good stories, and they're letting the people tell good stories in AEW. Now the viewers are going in and slowly. So we're going on from 2019 at that point, right? And AEW came in. Their Dynamite episode, they got a 1.4. Cody versus Dustin is the most emotional storytelling match I've ever seen. You could say the name Roman and Cody beats it, but I'm into that. In terms of just NWA, in terms of that, that NWA Mid-South, whatever that wrestling was, JCP, Jim Crockett promotion, Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes kind of wrestling, that was, I believe, it was two country boys, two cowboys, whatever in the way, fighting in front of God and whatever, and it made people cry. It had a good connection, bringing in, again, God, because Texas, God country, whatever the hell. It was a good Texan, like, the good country boy storytelling, good, that these guys from the South, South wrestling storytelling. Loved it. God, this was so good. AEW then, again, under first episode for 1.4 some million. Nearly, believe they were close to 1.5, probably did more. If you think about it, it won't much to more, but they could have even got 2 million. I don't care, but 1.4. My God, from the start, they got 1.4. And now let me get into a problem here. Even in 2019, people don't tune in. Even back like 5 years ago, nearly, when AEW Dynamite started, people did not tune in to watch wrestling. Especially if you're a wrestling fan, you're not tuning in. I get it, people do tune in, but people don't people don't. Casual fans don't tune in on cable. Cable's not a popular thing. Even in 2019, it had quite fallen down. The cable was not that popular, and people would say, flipping over whatever the fuck. And that was over WCW and WWF that time, but cable was on there. So there's a problem when you measure AEW's popularity, but they were damn popular. And you could tell how popular they were. Rather cable or not, they were popular. AEW then has one of a fantastic Dynamite episode from top to bottom. I think everything so good. The Jericho and Cody angle, the Mox and Jericho angle, which was better than Dean and Jericho, like people said, Raw or their retrospective and stuff. And and then Cody and Max was for MJF, Mox and MJF. AEW was firing on all cylinders. AEW at first was telling such good wrestling stories, so they were fantastic. WWE sucked at that time. Something went wrong here. All right, so we're still gonna talk about how it's just the story of AEW. What this I put down. Fast forward to a situation in the pandemic where shit gets, everything gets shut down. Cody came out, cut that. We're strong. We're gonna be, brave. We're gonna fight through this, and we're gonna get through this. And their main focus was to show wrestling, and that was cool. And when COVID went away, hopefully away. Double or Nothing was the first time they brought the crowd in, and my God, there was a crowd, and the thing was, because of COVID, it was also not AEW, it was also WWE. Both wrestling fans just wanted to be, or the fans, people just wanted to be outside and in the cult of an environment, in wrestling especially. But the thing is, WWE at that time, except they were doing so good with the Bloodline storyline and the stuff with Roman Reigns, absolutely incredible. The set things with Seth, they were doing pretty, you would say, good. They were doing good at that. Not really great. They were mostly good. NXT was still doing fine. It was doing pretty okay and good. But my God, the revolutionized moment with AEW. This is where it was like they're the fucking competition. When you hear CM Punk's rumors coming up that he is coming back to wrestling, and that's not going to be with the WWE. It's going to be all Elite Wrestling. And when that pop happens, God, the building is packed, and it was loud, and just kept on getting out. AEW kept on getting better. And that was the problem, too. They just kept on. I'm going to get to what they did, really. That is where AEW actually flew. That's where AEW said, we are your fucking competition. Because a lot of people, a lot of people have watched AEW, but people tuned in. People became real everyday watch AEW product fans because of that man, CM Punk. CM Punk was the draw. They got the draw. They got the biggest draw. They got the biggest needle mover, in my opinion. Freaking great needle mover. Could be bigger needle mover than Roman, but I digress. CM Punk, when he came in AEW, it was like, oh my God, this company has built itself up over the past 2 years with the feuds with Moxley, with Jericho, with Cody, with Kenny Omega, with the Bucks, with Dustin, with Pac, with Orange Cassidy, with the pillars like MJF, Darby, Jungle Boy. I believe, who's the next pillar? Sammy Guevara, the Inner Circle itself, Jake Hager debuting on Dynamite. This company had all the stars and motivation. And then soon people like Christian Cage joined it in the pandemic. Christian Cage, you saw a shift. People like Mark Henry ended up in AEW. That was after the pandemic, but people like Big Show, Paul White ended up in AEW. People like Christian Cage ended up in AEW. My God, they were fighting cylinders. And when they got CM Punk, it was like, GG's, man. People like WWE. Who is WWE at this point? Who the fuck is WWE? And you would say that, who the fuck is WWE? Because you're like, my God, WWE sucks. This is the best thing, and they're gonna get better. And now hear about this out. Raw was plummeting at that time. It just started up plummeting when they came back. And there's a problem here with WCW and WWF at that time. if you could flip two channels, it was both were on Mondays. They were not really the competition because they were also not on the same day, but but they were feeling like they were the competition. WWE did not take them as the competition. They let him, and they would have always let him, in my opinion. But and that would have made wrestling, made AEW the number one company of the sport. We would be living in it after 13 years. Who knows? But AEW was not the best. It was not the best in terms of being number one in the wrestling industry. It was in the terms of being the best product in wrestling history. And how also, well, it was because they were actually taking care of the talent build at WWE. They were like not in WWE. They were backstage stories of people being harassed and what the fuck, and it gets deep with WWE and what goes on with that, and how their management works, and creatively stifling everybody and not letting them bleed in an environment, and make the environment suffocating and worse for them to even be around. And WWE was making every bit of that environment to us better. AEW then changed a portion of the environment, right? And that made a lot of wrestlers obviously earn big check contracts and stuff, and every little other detail here I'm going to discuss with AEW. So CM Punk coming in, that's where the ball moves. CM Punk, the draw. And as over the weeks, first of all, WWE's attendance starts getting lower, and AEW starts getting more people. They pack big arenas. They do Dynamite Grand Slam and All Out. And to this day is the best AEW show of all time, in my opinion. And I don't fight me or not. All Out 2021 is where AEW says, we are the best. We are number one in pro wrestling. You forever will tune us. You will forever tune to us to watch pro wrestling. If you want to watch wrestling, if you want, you will tune into this wrestling company forever. And they delivered. Because show was top to bottom really fantastic, but at the end of the night, it was like the best mozzarella cheese all over, or whatever, fettuccine alfredo, the best fettuccine, no, it wasn't fettuccine, but the best Parmesan crust, the best Parmesan stuff on. And that was the debut of Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole. God, such good debuts. One of the best ever. And that's where, like, fuck WWE. This is the best company. And with CM Punk also involved in the MJF and Punk story, the story of Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega, they're packing. The women's division was so good in AEW. They were doing hardcore women, so like they were doing, it was like dangerous stuff. They were letting women do like bloody spots, and where the fuck it was wilding, and it was fun. It's cool to see that. We're doing good stories with the likes of Britt Baker. They were telling good stories with the likes of Kuroshida, Thunder Rosa, the story where she finally overcomes Britt Baker. It was wild, it was great, and it was so much enjoyable. And at a point, they were really close. And I'm not going to say, AEW was really close to beating the WWE in ratings. Raw, they were very close. Raw was plummeting down the range. And Vince Russo was contacted by the USA Network to help out Vince and the WWE and get their product better, because the money they paid for it, they were not getting that demand back. They were not getting the viewers they want. Viewers were just pummeling down the drain. WWE's viewers, the Raw viewers, were just pummeling down the drain, and AEW was this hot company, and they were so close to being Raw at a point. They were really close. Put something. And now we get into what really happened. Cody left, but we're going to talk about the true downfalls of AEW. We're going to talk about what was the real problem here. What really fucked up AEW? Let's get into these problems. First of all, Cody Rhodes leaving, was that a problem? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not gonna say it didn't really affect AEW as much people as think. It was still the hottest thing in wrestling at that point. Ring of Honor being bought, people thought it's gonna be the new developmental system. People thought it's gonna be more exciting. It kind of fucking ruined Ring of Honor, so we're not gonna discuss that. It didn't help AEW in general. It ruined them. Now we're getting into the Hangman and CM Punk feud. That is where AEW started to fall. CM Punk and Hangman, even their part was so fucking good, but CM Punk and Hangman. That was when AEW started to fumble a little bit, and they were not doing too good. And AEW just fumbled and fumbled and fumbled and fumbled to back off turns. And where it got personal, where he brought about Colt Cabana, where the rumors got worse, and eventually the freaking backstage and before that he called him out on national television, said, "We want your title shot." And just that CM Punk AEW title run and that AEW situation with giving the world title and making an Hangman was like okay with giving the title, and Punk really controversial, and it was just messed up. And then Punk said, "Fuck the company." He said everything. He said, "Fuck the company." In short words, he said, fuck AEW. He didn't say fuck the elite. He said, fuck AEW. He said the entire company. Fuck it. He was pissed, and he wanted out. That's the real downfall. And it doesn't get better. It might have gone better. See, so at a point, they kind of move on from it. With MJF's reign in AEW, it was must-watch television for AEW. Then you had the reign. Then you had the BBC and that story, the BCC, the Blackpool DCC, like the Blackpool Combat Club. The Blackpool Club. Anyways, and then that story in it, and then you had the MJ fan close story, which now let me discuss here in the video, guys. I'm not gonna discuss more into it because this is another video about AEW's how they could have really booked this better and maybe could have helped it, but general. AEW and the Hangman Adam Page story. Whatever that was. They did not give him a good reign. We're going to discuss that later on. Adam Cole and MJF. Really good, some great television, enjoyable stuff. But they ended up on a bad end. Then signing more talent. That became a problem. Right? Signing more talent to a company. That became a problem. It was a problem. AEW now, and then, signing Adam Copeland, firing Punk after the Jack Perry scandal. Whatever the fuck that happened. A scandal, I'm gonna say that fucking situation, And then it was hard work watching television. And we're at a point where we're hearing Shane McMahon coming to AEW. And AEW was at its worst. I'm sorry to say, AEW sucks. I love it. I loved what it's done for the wrestling industry. I loved that it was the competition, since we needed from fucking WWF killing WCW at that time. We needed a competition in pro wrestling to make WWE realize their product sucks. And they did that. If that was the goal, I don't believe that was the goal, but they made that to be the goal, and now WWE is the best thing in wrestling, in mainstream. You can say everything right now. And AEW is plummeting down the drain. And it's just a terrible time to be an AEW fan. It's not the best time. I'm an AEW fan. Forever will be. It sucks. And let's discuss this topic right now in just a little bit. Shane McMahon coming to AEW. That'll be interesting. I'll say maybe it's going to elevate the product in a way. Maybe it's not. Who knows? It's a McMahon coming to AEW. The rumors are running rampant about this, aren't they? Shane McMahon in AEW. Might be the greatest thing for AEW, might be the worst thing for AEW. We don't know. Pro wrestling is a tale to tell, with companies as well. So hopefully this makes, because Shane McMahon, I believe, I clear in mind, and I believe he would do so much better. and he would bring something that AEW is missing. And at this point, I'm just gonna say, man, it was AEW needs to succeed.